She knows that Bud the Stud is what keeps her place going.
Without her consent, it would be unethical and immoral.
We're talking about sex. What do morals and ethics have to do with it?
For the past few months, the Kemptville players have been hard at work on their latest production, Sex Please We're 60. Lee Gaw, who plays Mrs. Stancliffe, has been an active member of the Kemptville players for many years and says it has a long history in the area.
We officially started in about 1967, and a lady called Vita Hobson was the one who started the group. We were called the St. James Players at that point. We worked mainly out of Leslie Hall, and in 1981 we became incorporated and changed our name to Kemptville Players, Inc., and continued to work out of Leslie Hall. We have used other venues like the Kemptville College and high schools, different community theaters, that sort of thing. We are going back to the Municipal Center this time because Leslie Hall has can't accommodate our wiring anymore.
The play features a cast of interesting characters, including Mrs. Stancliffe. Mrs. Stancliffe is the owner of the bed and breakfast, and as Gaw explains, she enjoys many things as long as there's a strict schedule.
Mrs. Stancliffe is a character who is very well disciplined. She runs by the clock to the second, very well organized, likes to garden, and enjoys reading romance novels on the side, although she doesn't want anyone else to know that. She likes flowers and likes entertaining the guests, but likes everything to run punctually and on time.
Mrs. Stancliffe's bed and breakfast is believed to be successful in part to her neighbor, Bud Davis. But Bud isn't known as Bud Davis, he's known as Bud the Stud. So who is Bud Davis, and why is he referred to as a stud?
You don't remember me?
Well, of course I do. How could I forget someone as lovely as you?
Well, Bud the Stud is an elderly gentleman who is always trying to make out with the women who come to Mrs. Stancliffe's bed and breakfast. And he fancies himself as quite a Lothario. Unfortunately, he's perhaps not as successful as he thinks he is, but it works out pretty well.
Unfortunately for Bud, the women catch on to him and force him into a change. As Winston Cannard, who plays Bud, explains, his change is a very interesting one.
During the play, Bud is changed from being a seducer of women to one who is afraid that he's not going to be able to seduce any more women. And he has to adjust to that situation.
Director Diane Miller says she was given a choice between a few plays, but said there was no decision to make after reading this one.
They have a list from Samuel French and various lists of plays that are available. So they sort through, read the summaries of them, and decide which ones would be the best to take a look at. They gave me some plays to read through, and I read through that one and thought it was perfect.
So what is Sex Please We're 60 about?
A group of people who are getting together at a place called Rose Cottage, which is a bed and breakfast, and Mrs. Stancliffe, who is the owner, has a neighbor, Bud Davis, who is affectionately called Bud the Stud. Bud is one of the reasons Mrs. Stancliffe is such a success, because the ladies come to see Bud. However, once they find that he is seeing more than one of them, they decide they're going to get even with him, because Henry has developed a Venusia pill to enhance women's libido, and the women decide that they're going to teach Bud a lesson by giving him the Venusia.
And why should people go to the municipal complex to see this show?
Because it's a hoot. It's a lot of fun for the actors themselves, and I know that the audience is going to just split themselves laughing. It's a farce. It's not meant to be taken seriously, and I'm sure that nobody will.
It is so funny. It is hilarious. The cast has been absolutely wonderful. It's not an educational show, it is just to make people laugh and to enjoy themselves, and that's exactly what it is. People will be laughing from the beginning to the end.
It's a comedy for one thing. I think most audiences do enjoy a comedy. Everybody likes to go out feeling good. A lot of stress in people's lives nowadays, and I think if they can have a good laugh, it's a good thing.
The show runs May 2nd to the 4th at 7 p.m. and May 5th at 2 p.m. at the North Grenville Municipal Complex. Tickets are available at B&H Community Grocer, Business Strategies, the North Grenville Municipal Complex, or by calling Elaine Grosskopf at 613-258-5137. For more information, visit kempvilleplayers.ca.